All right, Nuggets Nation, it is official. The Nuggets have promoted or officially signed David Adelman to be the head coach of your Denver Nuggets. They have essentially removed the interim tag after really not even making it a full, any kind of a search. They did no process. They just liked what they saw in the 17 games where he went 10-7, led the team to a second round playoff exit in game 7 against Oklahoma City. I thought he did really well as a coach, and the Nuggets front office thought that he did so well, they didn't even have to interview anybody else. So we're going to break down the decision. Do I think it was the right one, the wrong one, the process, all of that, man. So smash the subscribe, comment down below if you love your Denver Nuggets, if you love your Denver Broncos, and your Colorado Avalanche. Really, any kind of Denver sports, man, we're going to cover it, except the Rockies. The Rockies don't deserve 0.01% of anybody's energy, even though I just gave them a little bit of it. So, anyways, let's get into it. So, David Adelman, man, let's look at this Nuggets team as a whole, right? They obviously got a nice boost from, the firing of Michael Malone and Calvin Booth, the GM, with 3 games left in the season. It was a very risky move. I think ultimately it did pay off. I didn't think that they were really a championship level team just because of the lack of depth that they had. I will say this though, all right? I do believe that the Nuggets made the right choice by sticking with David Adelman and allowing for him to continue. No doubt about it. The problem that I got with it though is the process. Going through it, right? Not interviewing other guys, not doing a full search, not being thorough. Because I think that, first of all, it's kind of a lazy approach. You never know. Somebody can come in, whether they're a coach with experience or not, and they could really blow you away, and the vision can make a lot of sense. And then you've got yourselves thinking, you've got these guys competing. And, we also cannot forget the fact that, yes, the Nuggets culture was terrible per a lot of reports. There's a lot of guys that were not bought in. They weren't all about what was going on. Well, I hate to break it to you, Nuggets fans, but David Adelman was an assistant coach during that exact time too. Now, it's not fair to fully blame him for that, no doubt about it, but we cannot lose sight of that. Another reason why I didn't like the process that the Nuggets followed in terms of this hire particularly is because I think the best way to do it is do a very thorough GM search. Try to find your general manager, the guy that's going to be the best fit, that's got the best vision for this team. It is so important that we nail the general manager pick because this team is right there. And we have a Jokic window that we don't have a lot of years left in. And it would be an atrocity if we end up winning just one championship during the Nikola Jokic era. And I think that the fix is, not as difficult as a lot of people think. But you need a GM that's going to be able to wheel and deal, that knows guys, that can get things done. After you hire your GM, I always like the idea of having the GM pick the coach. You want their vision to be very much aligned, right? Because now by having Adelman as the coach that you're going to roll with, you're kind of forcing the two to get along. Now, I don't foresee there being any issues with whoever we end up hiring, but let's say a GM is really interested in the Nuggets, but he had a particular coach in mind and he's not a big fan of David Adelman for whatever reason. Or he would have only taken the job if he gotten a specific coach because they know that their visions were aligned. Or maybe what Adelman has a vision for the team and what the new GM, maybe there's some differences there. And if they ultimately can't work those things out, bad things can happen. I don't like the process. I like for things to be very organized, very methodical. And I don't think that they did any of those at all with the David Adelman immediate signing. And I don't know why they felt like they needed to get it done so quickly, but it is what it is. The good news is it seems like they are going to have a very thorough search when it comes to the general manager. They're not just going to, promote from within with the interim GM that they have currently. It looks like they are going to go out and look for those particular guys. So that is some good news. And the NBA free agency window opens up on June 30th. That's when negotiations and that kind of stuff can happen. So you would expect that within the next month, within the next really 2 to 3 weeks, they would have a decision on the GM. You want to have that settled well before. But I don't know, man. I mean, the Kroenke ownership group, you can tell their babies are Arsenal and the Los Angeles Rams. Those are the two teams that they seem to put the most amount of effort, resources, time into. They're not really the biggest on doing that with the Avalanche and the Nuggets. They've promoted from within a lot. They did it with Calvin Booth. It ended up being abysmal. And so I just hope that it's not a trend that continues. I really hope that they realize just how incredibly important, uh, you know, not just this offseason, but the next couple of years are, right? We have to maximize the Jokic window as much as we possibly can. Now, what is going to be step number one for this new GM? Step number one is figuring out any possible solution in any possible way that we can get the Michael Porter Jr. contract off the books, get the player out of here and free up some of the cap space. I don't care if that means you got to trade another player or two, another draft pick or two. You've got to be able to create yourself the flexibility because you cannot continue to be money strapped. We know that they don't want to go in the second apron, and it's going to limit what it is that you can do. There's not really many guys that you can, replace Michael Porter Jr. with that are really going to be a downgrade, to be honest with you. But by getting his contract off the books, you're going to be able to get 3 or 4 really, really key guys. You would expect one of them to be a starter of a pretty damn good one, but fill out the bench 3 or 4 quality guys that can give you really good minutes off the bench so that you're not putting so much pressure and reliance on your core 3 players of Jamal Murray, Nikola Jokic, and Aaron Gordon. Now, a lot of people in Broncos country and Nuggets, nation are going to disagree. It's very polarizing. Do you trade Jamal Murray or do you not? Here's kind of where I stand. I think Jamal Murray is a really damn good player, right? Do I think that we could upgrade? Certainly. So you got to see what the hell the market shows. But if we don't and we continue to roll with Murray, he's good enough. That his chemistry that he's built with Nikola Jokic is good enough to be very, very productive. One thing you hope from him is that he figures out a way to, get his body more right. I like the fact that he lost a little bit of weight. He looked better at the end of the season. He was playing heavy minutes and it looked good. I liked how bought in he was. I liked how the defensive intensity that he was showing. That was all good for sure. Wasn't as dynamic of a scorer as we've seen in years past, but that's just, I think that there was a lot of things that went into that. I think he was certainly good enough. So for me, I'm fielding calls on everybody on this roster except for Nikola Jokic. You've got to explore every single possible trade possibility. And if you get blown away by an offer and it involves Jamal Murray, you do it. No doubt about it. Because there are certainly guys out there that are better, that are younger, that could, fit just as well or even better into the system than Jamal Murray has. But if you don't, it's totally fine. The biggest X factor is going to be Michael Porter Jr. and obviously Zeke Nnaji as well. I think at this point, Zeke Nnaji has so little value in league circles, and his contract is not going to be something that's easy for teams to take. You might be stuck with him. Michael Porter Jr., teams can at least feel like, hey man, we can trust, we can get the most out of him. They can see the skill set that they got. Maybe like Golden State's a team that makes a lot of sense because he fits into that system offensively really well. Zeke Nnaji, it's going to be tough too, but we'll see. I mean, I'm actually fine with him being a rotational bench guy. I like the size and the length. You saw a little bit of those flashes in, the middle part of the season when a lot of the injuries were happening. You saw some flashes. I mean, he was showing something, but clearly just fell out of favor and wasn't trusted in any way. But his contract's not going to hamper the Nuggets nearly as much as Michael Porter Jr.'s is, because you basically cannot do anything unless you get rid of Michael Porter and that contract and just try to get us out of this mess that Calvin Booth had created. It should be a federal crime what he did to the Nuggets. Anyways, man, I want to know what y'all think below about the Nuggets rolling with Adelman. Like I said, I have no issues with them keeping him as a coach. I liked a lot of the things that I had seen from him, from the way that he was switching up the defense to play, more zone. I thought he worked the rotations pretty decently. Yeah, he might have been a game or two late on some, like with playing Strother, but you know what? He ultimately ended up still doing it, and that's what experience is going to get for him. Get him more games, and I feel like he's going to get better. I think the players really like him, so I don't have a problem with the coach. He probably would have ended up being my choice anyways. I just had a big issue with the process and how they didn't really look elsewhere at all. So we'll see what happens with GM. Let me know what you guys think below, man. Until the next video, y'all take it easy, bro, and peace out.